Drew Lerner of World Weather joining us this weekend for weather. Drew, let's start off by talking about the soil moisture situation this week. Is most of the country in pretty good shape?
Yeah, we are. It's been a great summer. I think everyone would agree with that, even from a temperature perspective. But when you look at the soil moisture charts, the topsoil moisture in the heart of the Midwest is really mostly rated adequately in both the top and subsoil. There's some areas in Iowa, of course, that are a little too wet. And that's been kind of an ongoing on and off type thing that we've been dealing with through the year, but at least the most recent weeks, I should say. The biggest issue that I see at the moment that is developing and is likely to persist for a while is down in the Delta and the Tennessee River Basin area. Those areas are lacking moisture in both the top and subsoil, and you can see that they're running a little bit on the short to very short side here on this chart. It's also pretty dry in the southern plains, but as far as the corn and soybean production areas is concerned, the biggest issue is the Delta and Tennessee River Basin area.
Yeah, it's interesting to put that in perspective with those maps. Okay, then what are you watching now, Drew, over the next 10 days?
The weather pattern right now across North America is more or less stagnant, where we have a weak ridge of high pressure that kind of moves around a little bit and disturbances moving over the top of the ridge. And as these little disturbances move over the top, they're generating rain and thunderstorms from the northern plains and parts of Canada's prairies down across the upper Midwest. And then they stop short of getting into the lower Midwest. Over these next 10 days, we will see that Ohio River Valley area, the Tennessee Basin, and the Delta, at least the northern half of the Delta, to continue with this lighter than normal precipitation bias. And temperatures are going to be warm enough to keep evaporation rates strong enough to counter the precipitation. We will see some further drying in all three of those areas. Farther north, though, the moisture situation should continue to be quite favorable. Now, one of the biggest concerns I have over these next 10 days to 2 weeks is the tropics, and they could have a big influence on the overall bottom line to our weather. If a tropical system comes into the Gulf of America here over the second week of the outlook, it could force the ridge to be stronger over the Midwest and further depress the rainfall potentials, allowing dryness to expand farther to the north. Now, that tropical cyclone that I've got on the map here, that was where the European model had that located earlier this past week. I don't have any confidence that that is going to actually occur, but I just wanted to point out that if we get a system there and it comes northward, it will cause the ridge to expand across a bigger part of crop country.
Yeah, Drew, we are keeping a close eye on moisture for the rest of August and September, especially with soybean production and then harvest. But with about a 50% chance of La Nina developing between October and January, do you think that impacts the moisture pattern leading up until October?
I think for the most part, the answer is probably no, leading up to October, because this is an event that will take a few weeks to develop, and it's going to be a very weak La Nina event if it does occur at all. And so it'll take the atmosphere a good several week period of time to start having influence. So as we go in September or even August through September and October, I think we will be independent of the La Nina influence. If we get a La Nina, it'll probably show up in our data maybe in November and December, January, and it'd probably be a fairly weak event if it occurs at all. The outlook for the precipitation, though, for the balance of August and into September is really pretty good for finishing out these crops and getting into the fields to harvest. It is going to still be wet this month, of course, in the northwestern Corn Belt, but drier biased in the lower Midwest down through that Delta and Tennessee Basin. When we get into September, it'll be drier across the western Corn Belt, and we'll probably see a little mix of weather in the eastern areas. So it should be a good month to mature crops and to get into the fields and start harvesting. October will probably come around and give us a little bit more trouble with some of the harvest progress, especially in the western part of the Corn Belt.
Interesting. Drew, thank you so much for that. We appreciate it. All right, we need to take a quick break, and then we'll have Tractor Tales next.